Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. $15 billion is a lot of money. And there's a projection here surrounding that number. And I would love to see in the comments along the way here where you think we could get $15 billion from. And I mean we, America, right? The U.S., where can we get this $15 billion from? And what are your overall thoughts on this? So I'm going to give you the headline here now, then we'll jump into it. So I found this on Stars and Stripes. It just came out on July 17th, and I'm sharing it with you here today. Here's the headline. VA projects $15 billion with a B shortfall, driven by costs for veterans benefits, prescription drugs, and a bigger workforce. All right, so again, came out July 17th, 2024. Sharing it with you now. Hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. The two asks are, look, hit the thumbs up, let the video run, helps push the information out there to let everyone know that we, as a veteran community, know what the hell's going on. That's an important piece, right? The awareness aspect. People will act more in favor and do more if they think that we're paying attention. Just saying. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can do that by becoming a member. You can go to the homepage. There's highlighted members there and a join button. Thank you so much to every single one of you members. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's jump into this. The Department of Veterans Affairs is anticipating a $3 billion budget shortfall through fiscal 2024 from an increase in veterans benefits and a $12 billion spending gap in 2025 driven by higher costs for prescription drugs and the hiring of more workers. I will say that, what do you expect? You push the PACT Act, right? Which is great. This should happen. You push the PACT Act, you advertise it, you try to bring in as many people as you can, you tout how many new claims you're getting, how many new veterans into the fold. Then you turn and you say, hey, look, there used to be more doorways to get into the VA healthcare system, but we're going to remove that, which again, I believe you should. They remove that and allow, I don't remember the number, 1 million newly qualified veterans to be able to access VA healthcare. In other words, they have no other connection to VA healthcare other than the veil has been lifted and now they can access care, which is great, and veterans should get that. I agree. But this is my issue. It's like the leadership has zero forward thinking. If we do this and this, what's going to happen down the road? It's like they don't think about it, and it blows me away that I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of, and maybe I've missed this type of stuff in the past. Maybe I just wasn't as aware. Maybe this is just the way it always is. I don't know. But it seems to me that if you're going to do these things, your costs are going to go up. You're going to pay more on benefits. You're going to pay more on prescription drugs and things like that. You're going to have a larger workforce to take care of these people. What's going to happen? Your budget's going to need to be increased to offset that with some proper forecasting and, predicting in your crystal ball. You should be able to magically come up with some sort of a number with all the people that do all the analytic stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it's just ridiculous to me that this is even a thing. So let's move on and read through it. It's things like this are leadership failure is what it is. And look, I get it. It's government, and they go, look, we're going to be short, and what are you going to do? You're going to not pay it because that's not really an option. So, that could be the leadership standpoint is, whatever. I mean, it's close enough, and we'll get there, and they'll figure it out at the end. Print more money. Yay. All right. So let's move on. The $12 billion spending gap in 2025 driven by higher costs of prescription drugs and the hiring of more workers. VA chief financial officers from the Veterans Benefits Administration and the Veterans Health Administration informed House Veterans Affairs Committee on Monday the 17th, here in the middle of July, informed the House Veterans Affairs Committee on Monday of budget shortfalls projected through fiscal 2025. Representative Mike Bost, chairman of the VA's the House Committee on VA, there blasted the VA secretary and other VA leaders on Wednesday, accusing them of mismanaging the VA budget and misleading lawmakers in testimony at budget hearings in the spring. I don't even know what... There's Stan. Thank you, Stan. Good timing. For those that don't know, I have a rooster. Fast story. My wife, I decided we needed to get some chickens. Get some good farm fresh eggs, that type of stuff. We don't need a lot, small family, just 4 chickens will be good, right? 4 hens laying eggs. I get home, I have 3 hens. And Stan didn't know. I mean, they're this big, so it takes a little while. So anyway, I thought we just had, that's a big hen, right? No, it's Stan. So now here's Stan. So he chimes in. Moving on. This represents by far the largest budget shortfall that the VA has experienced under any administration, Bost said, referring to the total $15 billion. This is not just fiscal mismanagement, it is strategic whiplash. Terrence Hayes, the VA press secretary, described the miscalculations as a result of historic demand for veterans benefits and healthcare services that exceeded projections. He said the monthly average disability compensation payment for veterans has increased by nearly 8% since the start of fiscal year 2024. These results are life-changing for veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors, and VA will continue to push to make sure that they get the care and benefits they deserve, Hayes said. So, and again, I agree with all this stuff. What I don't agree with is the VA going, we're going to push all this stuff. We're going to open the door to all these people. We're going to we're going to advertise, we're going to pull it all in. And we're all going to do it for this little cheap amount over here. No. Ask for more. Ask for more. And don't put yourself in this position. I mean, there should be no surprise to anybody in Congress. They should have been, look, we're going to need more. Just so you know, that should be the message to Congress. And then, if they say no, then you're coming back going, hey, look, I told you back in whatever, we were going to need more. Now we're here. It is very evident we need more. And then there's no misleading anything. Everybody's on the same page. You get it. Moving on. Let's see. He said the agency is working closely with lawmakers and the Office of Management and Budget to close the spending gaps without creating any adverse impacts on veterans. That's scary. That's scary to say it like that, because what that infers is that there could be, an option is that there could be an adverse impact on veterans, is the way that sounds. I'm going to read it again and think about the other way that this could go. He said that the agency is working closely with lawmakers and the Office of Management and Budget to close the spending gaps without creating adverse impacts on veterans. That's frustrating. Moving on, but Bost sent a letter Wednesday to the VA secretary citing statements the VA secretary made at budget hearings saying the agency was able to adequately cover the surge in claims for VA disability compensation and had plans to reduce its workforce by 10,000 employees through attrition, by the way. Who plans like this? It really bothers me. I don't know. Look, there's been a lot of great things happening for VA. The management aspect has been calamity after calamity. It's not a political thing. It's just a leadership thing. And I think that I don't know. I think something needs to be done. All right, moving on. The VA secretary previously described the VA's 2025 proposed spending plan, which totals $370 billion, as a maintenance budget. It represents a $33 billion increase from the VA's budget for fiscal year 2024, which ends September 30th. Bost said the VA should have estimated more accurately More accurately, increased cost to deliver. I agree. Cost to deliver healthcare services and disability under the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson honoring our promise to address Comprehensive Toxics Act, known as the PACT Act, which is much easier to say, which offers disability compensation to tens of thousands of veterans exposed to hazardous substances while on active duty. About 1.5 million claims for toxic exposure have been filed since the PACT Act was signed into law in 2022. More than 694,000 veterans and survivors have been awarded benefits, according to the VA. Boast criticized the VA for prompting the PACT Act without effectively budgeting for its costs. I question how VA could have failed to budget for increased health care and benefits costs resulting from the PACT Act that we all knew were coming. And I have major doubts about some of the department's excuses, he wrote in a letter. Look, nobody should understand the VA's budget better than the VA, right? From the outside, looking in on everything that's going around it, right? As far as, let's say you're a congressional member, and you know that the PACT Act's coming, you're opening the doorway to a million more veterans to be able to access health care. You know, you're doing all these great things. You're automatically going to go, the costs are going to increase. I mean, it's just, that's part of the deal here. We get it. Who would we think would give us the best number on how much this should increase? The VA, since they're the ones doing it and have the budget and the wherewithal to figure it out. Well, apparently that fell flat. All right. The PACT Act provides medical care and monthly disability compensation to veterans diagnosed with diseases connected to toxic exposures from burn pits, radiations at weapons testing sites, and aerial spraying of Agent Orange and other herbicides. Boast wrote in a letter that he felt the VA secretary misled lawmakers when he testified the VA planned to impose hiring restrictions and reduce the full-time workforce after increasing the ranks to help process a windfall of claims from veterans seeking benefits. The VA employs more than 400,000 workers. The agency now projects an increase of more than 22,000 full-time employees to its workforce through 2025. Boast also criticized VA leaders for not calculating higher costs for community care, as more veterans seek referrals to see private doctors close to home when VA care is not available in a timely manner. He also accused the VA of shifting expenses into different funds rather than being transparent about rising expenses in some budget areas, an accusation he first made at a budget hearing earlier this year. So, shell game, right? Shell game with money, and hey, we'll just tighten it way up over here and we'll just slide that over there and pretend it never happened, right? That's not a good way to manage any business. Boast said it appears the VA is shifting dollars from regular VA expenses to the Toxic Exposures Fund that compensates disabled veterans under the PACT Act. The fund is projected to provide $24.5 billion in benefits in 2025, up $4 billion from last year. The congressman also sought clarity for the reasons for higher drug costs, saying speculation from VA leaders about greater demand for Ozempic and other popular prescription diet drugs does not hold weight with lawmakers. Boast requests the VA Secretary McDonough respond to his letter by July 26th and more fully explain the budget shortfall. He also indicated the committee could subpoena the VA secretary if the panel does not receive complete response by the requested deadline. Whew, that is a lot. And look, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you give the VA secretary and other leadership, look, it's not just him, right? I think that it's definitely a chunk of leadership that is lacking leadership and foresight and the ability to paint the picture of what's happening. Look, I've never managed anything I don't think most people have. The size of the VA. It's huge. It's a gigantic ship. I mean, the most people I ever managed was in the low 300s. So I could imagine. It's a lot. But it's what you're paid for. And if you can't do it, believe me, there's somebody behind you that can. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is the VA leadership, have they done a great job in the last, 3.5 years? Or have they not? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.